Sig P211. I mean, it is really easy to shoot. There's the How's it going, man? Out here today to review the new Sig P211 GTO. This is their first entry into the 2011 game, man. As I was watching it, I kind of seen it was coming up. I think their pro shooter guy was the one that kind of helped over the last like 14 or 17 years to kind of help develop this gun. And so this is a product of, you know, his collaboration with them, and, you know, a lot of different years of shooting and everything all thrown into a gun. My first impressions on this gun was it does, to me, it looks like it has a P320 slide. And I've seen some of the guys out there put it and showed that it actually will fit in a P320 holster. You have that, you know, big 2011 grip, real fat grip on there, but the side plates are removable like a P226, so you can switch out the side plates if necessary. It does have this 3D, we are free and clear. It has a 3D printed, ooh, if I can get this locked back, come on, there we go, 3D printed compensator on there. As you can see, large barrel on the top, and then you have these recycle ports there on the side that's really supposed to help with recoil and really keep that down and keep the gun flat. I've seen a lot of reviews over the last couple of weeks since it's come out, and people are, you know, really impressed with this gun. So I want to get it out here. I want to compare it and shoot. We got our Staccato P out here. You know, this is the, you know, the tried and true, I think one of the most popular brands you can get. I know a lot of people are comparing it next to XC, but I ain't got XC money. But this is probably my favorite Staccato, is the P of the ones I've shot. So I'm going to kind of put it up next there, see how it compares. Trigger, they're saying, is probably between 3 and 4 pounds for what I'm seeing there. So we can see here on the trigger, there's our take up. Clean break right there. There's our reset. So pretty good. This is an 80 series trigger, so that means it is drop safe. Are we going to drop it? Hell no, because the thing cost me too much money. I did buy this myself, so there ain't no way I'm throwing this thing down in the rocks. It does come with almost like a echelon type mounting system, where it comes with pins, and you put the pins in there to mount. I've seen some confusion online where people are saying it only took the Sig optics, because it will come with one of the Sigs and the sit enclosed optics, but it does take the Delta Point footprint for those guys that are out there looking. So we have the Vortex Defender XL on there, and we're going to go out here, give it some shots, see what we think, put our iPro on, and give it the run through, man, and see how she does. We do have the stock spring on here, so if you can kind of see here, I noticed with the stock spring, it is the 8-pound spring, which we are running all 115 Blazer through here. So I'm expecting, the other times when you're running compensated guns, you can have issues with it, you know, not wanting to cycle that lighter ammo. So we'll see how it does. Because here, I did notice that the slide goes back pretty slow with that lighter spring on there, so I probably will be switching out for the 10-pound as we go along. But here we go, man, let's give it a shot. Again, real audible, you can hear that? Real audible ambi slide releases, and real audible manual safety on there. So, there we go. Slide lock back. Make sure I didn't ride the slide release. Make sure we got a good lock back. So that's 115 grain, man. So I will say right off the bat, that gun has no recoil. I know you see a lot of those guys in those pros, and they're like, oh yeah, the recoil, it feels like it's pushing, or, you know, it keeps it pretty flat. That gun stayed flat. I mean, we can go again, but it stayed really flat. The recoil, I mean, it's hard to explain. It's pretty much, when a lot of guys say there's no recoil and you shoot the gun, you'd be like, yeah, there's recoil there. No, it feels almost like a 380 or like a 22 or something, man. It's really light recoil on there. I mean, there is like nothing. Even going one hand, it is really easy to control. I mean, it's just like nothing. The compensator on there, so far, my impression, that compensator is top notch. Probably one of the best compensators I felt on a gun so far, even compared to like our Walther PDP Pro X. and some of the other ones on there, that they really knocked it out of the park with that. So let's keep going, man. But so far, that might be my favorite 2011. It was the Kimber and the Staccato P, but this one might have took the lead. All right, let's keep going.
I
think
really
about
like
that?
it. There's like no recoil. Feels good in my hands, and I've got little hands. Yeah, it's just really nice.
All right, keep going. All right, I will say, as you've seen there, we've had two, because that lighter spring, we've had two of them so far where we pull the slide back and try to rack it, and it doesn't quite have enough force to feed it in there. Then we pull back and drop it, and it locks right in. So it's not like it's doing mid-round. It's usually when we first load it up, but again, we've only probably got about 20 rounds to it so far. All right, man, we probably got about 50 rounds in it so far. I will say we do have the stock, like I said, the stock 8-pound spring in it, and like when Pilot Shooter, he had one that had it. That spring is really, really light, and you can see now it's really loosened up. That is a really smooth fit up. It's getting just, I mean, it doesn't take anything to pull that back, man. That is nothing. I will say we did have two of them where it didn't do it, and there wasn't failures whenever we shot it. We are shooting 115 Blazer here. It was just trying to load it, like if you didn't get that full pull back and let it go, you know, if you just kind of rode the slide a little bit, it wouldn't have enough to really seat the ammo into the battery there. So but yeah, just letting it go full return. I will say I will be putting the 10-pound spring in here, because it shoots. I mean, again, so far it's probably one of the best 2011s I've shot so far, even out of the platypus and all that. But we'll get the rest of the guys out here and we'll stack them all up next to each other and see what we think. But I will be putting that 10-pound spring in there. That's way it seems like you get a little bit faster return on that slide. But let's keep going, man, and see. Say boom, there we go. See, it's kind of a slow return on that, but still pretty good. Let's get some targets here. I mean, it is really easy to shoot. The recoil is probably the lightest recoiling gun I have shot so far, bar none. And I'm not exaggerating. I am really shocked on the lack of recoil and the ease, and I'm not a professional shooter, the ease of this to be able to, you know, stay on target and be able to hit, you know, boom, boom, transition from target to target. Let's go on out to 60 yards and see if we can hit it. Switch our mags out here. I think we hit a hawk. I think there was a hawk or a vulture back behind the target. All right, here we go. Back out to 60. Dirty. Can you see where we're hitting at?
Right.
All right, here we go. There we go. Now I can see. There we go. Like I said, I'm not the best shot. I think we've hit it 3 times so far. As you can see, we got that Defender on there. I had to clean it off. Our glass is getting pretty damn dirty because it is kind of right there hanging over the barrel there, as far as in the, so the gases are kind of bleeding up through there, so we're getting pretty dirty on the glass. But let's keep going. Take a couple out to 60 and we'll bring it back in. Alright, let's come back in. Back out to 60. Ran out of bullets. Really accurate. I'm not the best shot. Like I said, I don't shoot professionally, but able to transition from 60 back to like 10, 25, back out to 60 is effortless with this gun, man. So I will say that they definitely knocked it out of the park, even for a basic user like me. This is one, if you're comparing to, again, 4300 for an XC. I've messed with XC. That is a nice gun, but most guys aren't going to drop that kind of money. Even this thing runs about $2,400, and it comes with all these different features. I think it's a pretty good quality gun. Let's stack it up, and we'll do a transition with the Staccato P, which is one of my favorite 2011s. And we'll do the Staccato P to this one, going back and forth, and see, you know, how we feel on it, you know, as far as the quality, doing a one-to-one transition back and forth. All right, let's get that done. All right, my son says it's not the gun, it's me, that I just suck at long distance shooting because I'm blind. But so let's see how he does out to 60. There's one. There's two. There's three. Four. You're just showing off now. All right, so again, we're going to do a one-to-one, man. I always like doing that. Shoot one, shoot the other, and see which one I feel, you know, I like the best. Again, we got the P, which is non-compensated, against the 211 GTO, which is compensated. But, you know, we're just going for, you know, if I had one, because they both cost about the same amount of money. If I had one, you know, which one would I put my money on? So we'll start with the P, since this is my favorite. Man, I love that gun. All right, straight over. There we go. Straight over to the 211. I will say that is a lot easier to pull back, but again, the poundage between the springs, this only has an 8-pound spring in it. So here we go, back to back. Oop, what'd I do? Okay. Gotta turn the safety off, dumbass. Okay, the compensator makes a huge difference. If anybody's really familiar, a lot of people out there in 2011s should be really familiar with the P. The compensator makes a huge difference in that recoil. You can feel it when you do, especially when you go back to back from one to the other. It's a really huge difference. Now, weight-wise, this does have a polymer frame on it. The P does, which just has a aluminum frame with the G10 grips. I will say, weight-wise, the P does feel a little lighter, but as far as how they feel in my hand, oh man, it just, the P211 seems like it's a little bit more balanced to me, man, on how that feels. So honestly, this one, I think they run you probably about $2,400-$2,500. This will run you about $2,400 or $2,500. I'd have to say this one, man. I'd have to say the P211 for what you're getting for the money and the quality of how I feel. Now again, I will say that is really, really smooth on that barrel, and so is the P. I mean, that is really, really smooth. But everybody knows the P. I would probably say the fit up on that is tight. It does. Now you see people in reviews talk about it gets hot. That does get hot compared to that. I mean, that one's cool to the touch. That one is hot, man. But the fitment on there, that might be better, dude. I don't know. That feels really good. So again, you get the magwell out the box, G10 grips, optic ready, compensator. The trigger on this one is definitely, I believe, a little bit lighter than what you have on the P. I'm gonna have to get to this one, dude. Again, so if you're out there and you're looking and trying to compare between the Kimber 2K11, the Staccato P, and some of those other ones that are in that, you know, 2000 to 24, even the Platypus. We're gonna get the Platypus out here. We're gonna stack it up, and we're gonna try to see if we get the Staccato HD out here also. But I will say, if I had to throw my money and I had to pick one, this is going to be probably my only time I'll be able to pull this, and don't want to have any kind of buyer's remorse, you know, moving forward in the future. I would probably say that Sig hit it out of the park with this P211. With all the problems they've been having, I think this gun redeems them as far as, you know, a quality firearm for the money. Because to me, the feel of this gun, they could have thrown $3,000 on this or $3,500 or something like that, but they threw it in at that $2,400 price range, which I think is a steal from my opinion. All right, man. Got any questions? Put them in the comments. But there it is. Till next time.
Catch me on the downslide, I'll be heading